Alright, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to continue further with the Blogify thing that we had started in the last one. So in the last video, we had basically made these three basic routes, right? And right, great. So in this video, we are going to continue with this. And like I said in the beginning, I don't have anything planned right now, right? And we're going to do everything as we move along. And this is just to show you how you would actually proceed in a project, right? And yeah. So I'll actually start with a new to do this time, and let that be that display posts, right? So I want to actually display the things in a format, right? Great. So for that, I'll have to set up my EJS structure completely, and that's what we're going to do right now. So I prefer to leave this nodemon running in the background while I make my changes from the terminal, right? So I'm going to quit from here. That's great, but I'll clear. And then what you can do is you can click on window, and then you can click on new terminal window, right, from here. And it will take a moment to start. Wait a second. Great. And now we have a separate terminal which is up in another tab, right? So what we can do is we can move into our app, and we can leave nodemon running here, and we can work with our files here, and we'll have this terminal to make new files or traverse or do all those things while our nodemon is always running in the background, right? Great. So yeah, all right. So now if I do ls here, I see I have my basic structure with my basic folder set up. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make the partials and the main three files for these three, right? So first of all, let me just make the files, right? So for this one, we'll make it home.ejs, right? Then we'll need another file, which is for this one. This we'll call index.ejs, right? And I highly recommend that you name all these things like I am naming them right now, because just follow this format completely. Name them as I'm naming them, because this is actually a convention that we'll see later. Then I'll do touch views / and this will be new.ejs. Excellent. So now we have three new files, and if I do ls views, by this I'm basically viewing the things inside of this directory, right? Then I have home.ejs, index.ejs, new.ejs. So let's open them up. I'll do bool. And right, so in the home.ejs, I'll first just do a simple h1. I'll leave this side. Right, I'll do a simple h1 saying this is the home page. Then what I will do is I'll save this. Great. And next instead of doing rest.send, I'll do home, right? And this will be rest.render. So now when we visit this and we visit / we should get an h1. This is the home page. Great. Next, we'll also do a similar thing for all these other files, right? I'll open up index.ejs and I'll put an h1. We're going to make the partials too, so don't worry about the proper syntax right now. I'll do this is the index file. And again, so I'll go here and I'll change this to index. And note that we do not have to write .ejs all the time, because we've already written this line, due to which all of these will be used by .ejs by default, right? And I'll change this to render. So now if I visit /blogs, this is the index file. Great. And the last is the new, right? And I'll close these two for now. I'll open them when I need them. And I'll do new.ejs. Great. So in here, I'll put another h1 saying this is the new blog page. And now I'll go in here and I'll link that using this. Excellent. So if I go to /blogs/new, this is a new blog page. So our our EJS files are now set up and they are correctly linked. The next thing that I'm going to do is make the partials, right? So I'm currently inside my main blogify directory. So I need a new directory inside views, which will be known as partials. Now you might actually traverse through the whole thing. You might do cd views and then you do mkdir partials. That essentially has the same effect, and honestly it matters completely on you what you want to do. I personally prefer using this syntax and always remaining in the main head directory and then just using the slashes to get to where I want to get to. But it's your choice. If you want to just keep on traversing forward and backward, then do it, but then you will always have to like check then you will have to like keep a track of where you are, and while that might not be a really big problem for you, I don't like it. So that's why I do this, right? So I'll do mkdir views/partials. So inside the partials, I will use the autocomplete using the tab for this, right? I'll make a header.ejs. And I'll also make a footer.ejs. And now if I do ls views partials, I have header.ejs and footer.ejs. So now I'll open them up. And in the header, I'll get my doc type. I'll get my HTML tag. I'll get my head, in which the title will be Blogify, right? And then I'll have my body, the B should be right. And then I don't need these two lines because this is all the header that is, right? And one more thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually include Bootstrap, right? And I'm going to do that from the CVN. I'll take the link from here itself. See, and I'll go into my header.ejs and I'll paste that in the head. We don't have any custom style sheets yet, so we can ignore that. And anyway, great. So we have this, and that's all for the header, I think, and I'll close that. Now I'll open up the footer, right? Footer, the first thing that we get is, for now the body, we'll add a thing just in a moment, right? So the body closes first, and the next thing that closes is the HTML. So this should ideally be our footer, and the one thing that we can add is the things from down here, if we ever need them, because we are not sure. And we don't want to like spend hundreds of hours on this if some bootstrap thing is not working later on. Or not hundreds of hours of course, but you get me, right? Yeah, so we have this now, and I'll indent this. I'll leave this as this. Right. So now I can just simply go to my files and include my header and footer. First of all, I'll do that in the new, right? So if you don't remember, to include, we use the EJS syntax, and as this is like rendering some HTML, we are using the dash, right? Then I'll do include partial/header.ejs, and down here we'll do include partial/footer.ejs. And now if we reload this, we should see some change because Bootstrap is included, and hence the H1 should change a little. and it does change. It becomes a little better looking, means our header is properly installed. So great, yeah. So we can now add the similar thing to all the other pages. I'll do Command C, and then I'll close this file. Yes. So I don't know if this shortcut works here too. No, it doesn't. Let me check again. Anyway, so now we need to open up all the other files, right, on .ejs, and I'll leave that for now, and I'll paste that in. So header.ejs is included. I'll paste that in again, and I'll change this to footer.ejs. Great. So now my home should have a different format, and like this should be the Bootstrap heading, which it is. So means our header is properly installed and the footer too is properly installed. Great. The next thing is doing the same in the index.ejs. And I'll paste this in. Change this to footer. And now when I visit /blogs, I should get a Bootstrap heading, which I'm getting. So it's included here too. Excellent. So now we have like made separate EJS files, and we've included the header and the footer properly. And we've also included Bootstrap. So now we have our proper HTML structure, which we can edit as we learned in the front end section, right? So now editing this file will be completely front end, except the small passing of variables thing that we'll be doing and all of those things, but those are actually small parts of this. Those are not really big parts. So now these EJS files will be mostly front end, right? Great. So now our task at hand was to display posts, right? It was in the doing. So let's start with that, or I'll actually leave that for the next video, right? I'll leave that for the next video. So that's all for this one. I'll see you in the next.